Hello, and welcome to Adulthood as a Project, the show where two sisters discuss the lessons learned and growth earned through the realities of life. I'm Charlie, and this is my sister Casey, and we are your hosts.
In today's episode, we will discuss what it's like being a strong, independent woman. We will also discuss the ins and outs of what led up to it and how each navigated. Being a strong, independent woman, I am one, but I certainly prefer a man to take care of my issues. Charlie, on the other hand, she prefers to take care of everything herself.
I absolutely do. I have issues of trusting someone to do something for me because I've been burnt in the past. Our dad, ex-husbands, something I've been working on for a few years now is when someone does offer me help to actually accept that help and let go of my need to control how that help is giving.
And I truly have a hard time just grasping why a man isn't just doing something for me. Like, you see, I'm just a girl. Do your man thing and fix my problem. I don't care what problem it is. If a man can fix it, why isn't he?
Dude, I have a hard time how you even feel like that. I do not even understand that concept, and I don't understand how we grew up in the same house with the same parents, and you feel that way, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't care if a man can do it. I will do it myself. I will prove that I can do it, and I don't need a man to do it for me.
But prove to who? Myself? I already know that I can do it. And I get it. We grew up in the same household, and it's not like we had a man around doing anything for us. But in reality,
Right?
like my husbands that I've had, I've been taken care of. Kind of a spoiled brat.
Probably because that's the vibe you give out. I definitely felt like I was the one taking care of everything in my marriages too, so I didn't feel like it was someone was going to do it for me by any means. If I needed the line from The Little Mermaid, if you want something done, you've got to do it yourself.
And I think I do better at directing somebody to do it for me. I'll supervise that situation. Maybe it's just the baby in me.
Very well actually could be, because if I'm needing to direct someone on how to do it, I immediately get frustrated and I don't have the patience to direct them. I'm more just get the hell out of my way. I've got this. Like, I'll take care of it. I don't need to wait on you to figure out what I'm telling you to do. And if it's something like, say, trimming a tree, if I need to direct you on how to trim the tree, just get the hell out of my way. I will do it. Because I do not have the patience to teach you how to do something that should be extremely obvious to anyone else in the world.
Yeah, I would say trimming a tree, I would be like, and you see that little branch up there? That one also, you might want to clip on that one.
Like, just give me the pruners or whatever they are. I'll take care of it. I don't know. Like you said, yours is like being the baby. I just think mine is more of patience thing, not having the patience to wait for someone to do it and not having the patience to talk them through doing it.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'll just get it done.
And I mean, in general, whatever problem I'm having, I look for somebody I know would know how to fix it. Now, you got to admit, my first husband was pretty handy dandy around the house with anything.
True.
And if I had even attempted something, he would have probably lost his mind.
Okay, so I didn't get into actually doing things until later in life. So I would definitely say my first husband was handy as well. It was just hanging up a picture, which I can totally take care of also. So I didn't really ask for help on that one.
Yeah, if it wasn't exactly right, it would have stressed him out. So I just didn't do it. I just told him where I wanted things.
Right. Yeah, I've not had someone do that. Reminds me of this story once. My last ex-husband, and it was cleaning the house, and do you need any help? I'm like, well, I just need to sweep and mop, and actually I'll be done. That's all I have left. He's like, oh. And I said that as I had the broom in my hand. So he's like, oh, I can help with that. So he goes and gets the mop, and I kind of go around the corner to keep sweeping in this other room, and I come back and he's sitting on the couch. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe he's waiting on me to finish sweeping and then he's going to mop. That would make sense. I get into the room where we would keep the mop stuff at, and I'm like, Oh, you filled the sink with water. Yeah, I told you I'd help. It's full. It's ready for you. Okay.
No.
So if that explains how the kind of help I would get when asking a man for help has been, well, that was thanks for filling the sink up. And then trimming the tree, whole back half done, whole front half got left. I'm like, it kind of need to go all the way around? Like, it's the whole tree, not just part of it. And that's what led me to being, with him in particular, being just, I'm just not asking for help. I'm just doing it myself because I want to get it done. Yeah. And I forgot about that story, though. That's funny. I was like, wow, you're so helpful filling up the sink.
I know that.
Oh, Lordy.
I know that you're gonna fully appreciate this. It's happening right now, where I have this water leak happening behind my toilet, and I've attempted to fix the situation. And
Good for you.
don't actually really know how. And so then I sent the flower child, because she's the man around the house. I was like, can you go figure that out, please? And she's looked at it a couple of times, and she says, well, I know where the problem's at, and we just need to order this thing. And I was like, there's all these maintenance guys around our campground, and I mean, we kind of talk and flirt with them enough. I don't understand. I think if we just talk to one of them, they'll get over here and fix it for us. And she's like, I think you're probably right. And so we do have this maintenance guy who's he's come over and he's ordering the parts for us, and he's gonna come take care of that. And
nice.
It's taking a lot of patience on my end, because right now I have to just keep this towel behind my toilet, and I have to keep washing it because it gets wet. And so I don't want to just have a wet towel back there, but I'm also like, oh my goodness, can you get over here and get this fixed already? Like, you're taking a long time. But he's had to come over and measure it and look at it and this and that. And so I'm having quite a bit of patience with it, mostly because I'm like, this seems like a hard man job. So let's see when those maintenance man wants to come help us. And they absolutely do.
My
and
first
they love
thing, I'd be like, pull up YouTube. I'll figure this out.
Yeah. But
sure.
when I had to replace my toilet in the first place, I just called our brother.
Which is not a normal person I would have called to help with that.
He's a boy. What else was I gonna do? Fix it myself?
That's crazy talk.
That's
Says the girl. I've replaced every part of my toilet now I've replaced the entire toilet at this point. But okay, I didn't do that. Someone I was hanging out with did that one for me. But I had done all the other parts to the toilet prior to hitting the point where I had to replace the whole thing. So yeah, I'm just like, I'll figure it out myself somehow, some way. I don't know.
I figure out who I can call.
Ghostbusters. Well, me and the tunes for the movies today. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh man. Well, I will say though, like, you get down to it, right? When you dig deep down, like, root cause for me definitely starts with our dad, who wasn't around we were probably about 10 on. And so that one thing in our childhood led me to eventually working through trust issues, especially with men.
Well,
and
I gotta tell you, daddy issues is a different episode, sister.
I don't know if we'd have an episode long enough to unpack all that one with our dad.
Be a 3-parter.
Yeah. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. I think it's just, I find it interesting because I feel like I'm very strong, very independent, and very much do my own thing. And I base it on probably start and then because I just felt like I had to find a way to do it for myself. Then like mom, always telling us, make sure you have a quarter so you can make your own phone call so you're never stuck somewhere. Like when we were kids.
This is so silly. But then she eventually set up that 800
like a quarter
number
could get
for
you anywhere.
us.
But I don't know. I feel like she started to set us up to be independent. And our dad just like, deuces, figure it out.
Okay, so when we talk about dad, what I did learn from him is that men are fairly stupid, but they're strong.
Mm.
And in general, they're pretty easily controlled by sex. So I've always been like, I like sex. So why not find just a big, strong, hopefully not too stupid of a guy, and he can do the things that I don't want, and then we get rewarded with sex afterwards. It really works out for me. But whenever there's a guy who's not like easily coerced by sex, it intrigues me in a really odd way because there are
Yeah, I
some
haven't
guys
met
like
very
that.
many of them. Some, not many. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I like sex too, but I've just never thought about using it to get someone to do something for me that I can do for myself. So I do.
It's my power move.
Your V power.
Yes.
Oh man.
I have it, so why not use it to get things done?
Duh, especially things I don't want to do.
I
There have been many times where I'm like, I just want a guy to come do this for me. But I do get a sense of pride when I can figure it out for myself. Like the feeling of looking at something physical that I accomplished, that just feels amazing and it makes me feel empowered. I took on a remodeling project in my house a few years ago. And in wanting to save money, I decided I was going to figure out how to do some of it myself. I have learned to run wiring a little bit, install puck lights. I know how to change hardware on doors, knobs, hinges, and I've gotten a lot more comfortable using a drill for hanging towel holders and curtain rods, or as I prefer to call it, an electric screwdriver. I do have to say, though, it would have taken me a lot longer to do these things if it wasn't for the help from a guy friend of mine who came through with a ton of patience while he would walk me through stuff after I'd call him frustrated that I wasn't understanding what the YouTube video told me to do.
yeah, YouTube videos can be really helpful. However, sometimes they can be a little frustrating.
Yeah, when your stuff doesn't work the way it says it should.
Yeah, I also feel like I definitely need to point out that I'm not offering sex to everybody that helps me, right? Obviously, like our brother, no, I just gave him food.
Thank you for clarifying that for our listeners because that could have gotten really awkward really fast.
And the maintenance guy around here, he just wants a bologna sandwich for fixing my water leak. So,
So you're not whoring yourself out on a regular basis and you're just cooking.
right, a lot of times, if they can't be persuaded by sex, they can't be persuaded by food. They're kind of big and dumb like that.
Then you use the V power. Hey, our brother will be persuaded by food any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
I was gonna comment your maintenance man as a cheap date too with a bologna sandwich. Like, good lord.
I know, because I definitely am like, I will get you some meatloaf or something, sir. But if you want a bologna sandwich, I've got it.
I love meatloaf.
I know, I bet you would totally fix my water line for a meatloaf, wouldn't you?
If you throw in homemade mashed potatoes, I will come figure it out.
But I do remember all your household projects, and you also called me a lot crying and frustration. And I understand the sense of pride thing. I mean, I've definitely spent an afternoon or two cussing out a car and then feeling like a total badass whenever I finally get it done and it's running all smooth again. It's just, I don't find the pride worth the frustration and agitation that it cost me. On the other hand, give me a recipe I want to get just right, and I will toil away at that thing for however long it takes, even if I have to make that thing 10 different times to get it just right. So, I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of I don't like physical labor. Like, remember when we were kids and I could persuade you to do the yard work for me if I baked you cookies?
Yeah, but I enjoyed doing the yard work. Okay, well, mowing. Anyway, I like mowing. Trimming trees, bushes, none of that. I do not like that. Just the mowing. But I enjoy cooking too, in case someone gets the impression I can't cook. But yeah, you can persuade me with food for sure. Well, let's be honest. I mean, I can be persuaded by sex too. It's like I am a dude.
You are. You're a big, strong man. And you're not stupid either, though. So that's a big plus.
Right? I will, like, there was some, it was just some towel holders for the bathroom about a year ago. And I was annoyed. I had been holding onto these towel holders for probably 2-3 months. And I'm like, oh my God, I just need to take the old ones out, put the new one in. This shouldn't take long. I'm like, God, I just want a guy to come do it. I don't want to do it. I know if a guy does it, it's going to go 10 times faster for him. But finally, one day I just broke down, pulled off the old towel racks. Of course, guess what happened? Made a hole in the wall. Then I had to go patch that hole in the wall. Then I got to go get the paint color to match the paint to paint over the patch. Then I can put the new towel things up. I get frustrated. But as soon as they were done, I'm like, oh, this looks so good. And let me take a picture and show everyone of the project I did today. So in house projects in a particular situation, I have learned that if I need the help, I will call that friend and say, hey, I started to take on this project that is too much for me and I could use some help. I also like, though, looking at something and knowing I can easily take care of that myself. I don't need someone to do it for me. So I just have to find a balance in that, right? Because just because something looks easy does not mean it will be. And something that should be a 15-minute project is not.
Yeah. And, of course, for me, I would say the things that I am more likely to take on is anything to do with my car.
Yeah, for you that would be, and I would steer far away from that unless it's changing my air filters.
Oh, it wasn't quite a year ago. I had to change out my spark plugs. And the way that my car is set up, it is a hot mess to get to my spark plugs. And I did have to watch a YouTube video on what all had to come off of my car just to get to the spark plugs. And to me, I'm just thinking, I know how to change spark plugs. It's not a problem. That's a 15-minute job. But I also know to get to the spark plugs was the issue. I had to watch a video, and it did take me most of the day that day, but it wasn't a big deal. It's mostly the biggest project was taking everything off and then getting everything back on afterwards, because the changing of
Oh,
the spark
right.
plugs is not a problem. It's easy peasy. And the same thing with my battery. It's the way that my car is set up. When I had to change out my battery, I legit have to take off windshield wipers and take
Oh my
off.
gosh.
Oh yeah, I have to take all these things off to get to my battery, which is stupid because to me, I'm just like, it is a battery and it's going to take me all of 10 minutes to change it. Except to get to it is a whole different story. But I will take that on.
Right.
That's
And then
one
you're
of
going to
those things
need
I will.
the extra tools to get to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have found I will take on a lot of projects. When I started realizing, especially with the house project, how much I was needing, I had to rely on other people for stuff, whether it be something small. And again, it's not like I did all this myself. I hired someone to do it. I was just doing little stuff to save money. And I use it as an opportunity to work on my trust. So it was hard for me to ask for help because that means I have to trust that the person that said they're going to help me is going to help me. And also work on the patience, because just because it's Saturday afternoon at 2:00 and I took on a project that bit off more than I could chew, if you will, doesn't mean my friend is available at 3:00 when I'm knee deep in the shitstorm I caused and can't come over. So I have to be patient and wait for that person to say, okay, give me 2 hours, I can be there. So worked on patience, working on trust, and so the project that was supposed to be a project for my house also turned into a project on myself, which is a continuing one, as we've discussed. Most of our stuff is, but I've also, I think there's a lot of strength behind being able to ask for help.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to see that side of it.
Right. And I would say also in just in speaking about being this strong, independent woman, and it's not even just the big things. It's not the big house projects. It's not the big, my car broke down. It's not just those things. It's also, hey, listen, man, I don't like to open my own doors. It baffles me when a door's not
Okay,
open
well,
for me.
I think that is just, as I like to call it, princess treatment. One of our nieces calls it that. I'm down for some princess treatment. But I think that's the chivalry side of things. And I'm okay with chivalry. Right? Obviously, I don't have to prove to anyone that I can open a car door.
I haven't even told you this story yet. So as you know,
Okay.
Big J was
You're
moving.
raising a strong, independent daughter.
I know, I don't know where she got it from. She must get it from her dad.
I feel like we might have popped that, and we could have said that earlier about your daughter, but that's not the point of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Big J moving?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Big J was moving over the weekend and asked for some help. That's fine. Now, I need you to understand he moved to a third floor apartment. And so I have this box and I'm coming up the stairs with it. And by the second floor, he already knew I was already like, this is stupid. Why would you pick a third floor apartment? Right? I'm a little cranky at this point. And
What?
he
You doing manual labor?
yes.
Cranky?
And so then I stop at that second floor because he's ahead of me with a smaller box, or a box that was lighter, I guess I would just say. And so I just stop at the second floor, assuming, okay, he's going to go put that box away and come back down here and finish this off. He did not.
Wait, how long did you stand there waiting on him?
I mean, I stood there for a minute and I knew he had already gone inside because I could hear the door. And I thought, well, what is he doing? And so now I pick the stinking box back up and I get headed up that third flight of stairs. And now he has the door open and he's staring at me, struggling. And I'm just waiting, like, why are you not coming to get this box? You see me struggling. And so then I finally get inside. He's like, yeah, I thought I'd come in to help you, but I really wanted you to, endure through that. And I wanted you to prove it to yourself. And I looked at him and I said, I never need to prove it to myself like that. I never, ever need to prove to myself that I can do something. I don't like that kind of personal growth. And he's like, no, I just wanted you to see that you could do it. You were doing such a good job. I know I was. I didn't like it. What are you thinking?
Like,
and struggle.
Why did I have a heavier box than what you had? Like, what is happening here right now? See, I would say I have learned in the past, I would guess maybe 2 years to start letting some of that go and take on the whole, I'm a girl. Why? I think we should touch real quick though, because I kind of skipped over it there, about you raising a strong, independent daughter, right?
Yeah.
And you being who you are as a person, yet you wanted to make sure you didn't send someone out in the world that couldn't do things for themselves.
So what is funny is also with the flower child, she was the one I made sure you know how to change a tire, you know how to do the things. And as you know, she has taken on her big RV remodeling project and she's just killing it.
Right.
And she's out there working on
she gets it from both of us.
Yeah. Now, here's what she has also gotten from me is she found a big strong man. She did not offer sex.
Good.
Because
Don't teach her those ways.
because when it came down
Not
to
that we're slut shaming.
no slut shaming here. You get it done however you need
None.
to. But when it came to a lot of the mechanical things, what had happened was she needed to replace that whole rear end. And so she found a mechanic that did that. And then her and him have struck up a friendship. And now he comes out and he helps her regularly, like just very slowly progressing through, all the motor things and gas lines and vacuum lines and things like that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so she has asked for help, but she's accepted it, and he's good to go out there and help her with that. But when it comes to, she's completely tore down all those walls by herself. She's in it to win it out there. And
Yeah, I think that's awesome because that's when I think it comes down to more of that. On that, it's a sense of pride. It's not
yes,
necessarily a having to prove it to someone. It's the pride in yourself of doing something like taking on a project, seeing it through, and finishing it.
it's funny to me because I raised her and I made sure she knew how to change the tires and all those things. And then I remember the first time her brother got a flat tire. I had never taken him aside. I had never pulled my son to the side and been like, let me show you how to change a tire, buddy.
Did you just think boys were born with that knowledge?
I did. So I sent his little sister out to help him out. And show him.
Oh, Sonny boy. He didn't even.
Sonny boy. Poor fella.
You can't live that one down now.
I was like, do you need your little sister to come help you?
You- That's awesome.
I know. Poor guy.
The first time I had to change a tire was way before YouTube was ever a thing. Not that I'm aging myself. It was not a thing. I had to pull out my owner's manual and read it step by step, and it took me an hour to change one tire.
Oh no.
Insane. Yeah, I can do better now. You gotta learn somewhere though.
I know. I'm trying to think of the first time I ever even changed a tire. I'm not sure.
I don't remember learning it. I mean, I never learned it in high school or anything, so I think I skipped that day of driver's ed. I'm sure Mr. K was real happy to just get me out of his class, so whether I had done it right or not, he would have passed me.
I was there for that day in driver's ed.
Yeah,
what they
I was not.
What they didn't teach us in driver's ed is that when the lights come on your dash, it might mean something. And that very first car I owned taught me so much about cars because the light came on. I'm going to tell you my funny story. So I bought this car and the lady said, it's a great car. It doesn't use oil. And my 15-year-old brain thought, oh, it doesn't use oil. Period. Not, oh, it doesn't leak oil. That's not what I thought. I thought it doesn't use oil. So I drove this car, and my oil light's been on for a hot minute. And one of the guys that I hung out with, we're driving home, and he says, Casey, how long has that oil light been on? I said, I don't know. It's been on for a long time. I don't know why I even have it, because she said it doesn't use oil. And he looks at me, he said, well, do you hear that noise? I said, I heard a noise, but I told my mom about it, and she said to just turn up the radio. So that's what I did.
As I say, our mom teaches us to be strong, independent women. She's also like, turn the radio up. You won't notice anything. It's fine.
It won't make a difference. And so he says, Casey, pull over. Let me look at this. And I said, okay, you can look. I don't even know where you're going to look because the lady said it doesn't use oil. I don't know why I have this oil light. So we pull over. He looks, and he ended up putting 5 quarts of oil in my car that day.
Oh, my gosh.
He's like, it absolutely uses oil. I don't know why you have this idea that it doesn't. Because that's what she said. It's like, that's not what she meant by that.
Like, I would not know. Oh, the internet has brought us so far now.
Now we know.
Yes, yes. Well, now you went to school too, so now you really know.
It's
That's
true.
funny. I would say our lesson learned and growth earned on this. Be strong and independent, but don't refuse help that is offered in order to prove yourself. Life is meant to live with a community to make it easier on all of us. And if you can use sex as a bonus for you both for a job well done, then by all means do so.
Sex will get you every time.
Yep.
In our next episode, we're going to explore movies that shaped our lives, and you're going to get our hot take on it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go out there and be your favorite self.
Yes. And if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss in a future episode, send us an email at adulthoodisaproject@gmail.com.